Hello there.
General Kenobi.
How we doing today, Mike?
Great. How you doing, Brycey?
Cool. Well, we are the Jedi Archives minus our buddy Jonathan, who we believe is sleeping somewhere. Hopefully, he joins us for the next recording. But I am Bryce,
And I'm Mike.
and we are coming back to the High Republic Adventures. We kind of took a hiatus from that while we were covering the main line of the Marvel book. But we are now diving back into adventures and picking up where we left off with issue number 4, which is
Yep.
Now or Never Part 1.
hmm And here's the site of the League of Comic Book Geeks. And it says Star Wars High Republic Adventures number 4. Zine, Jedi Knight Court, and Droid 5AG3 have been following every clue to find answers about their friends who are missing and presumed dead since the Starlight Beacon disaster. Together with an assemblage of battle-ready Jedi, smugglers, and pirates, they've got a new lead to pursue, and it's taking them straight to a Nile prison ship. Dare they hope to discover surviving allies there? And just keep in mind that this is about a year since Starlight Beacon has fallen.
Yeah, a year and 2 weeks, I
A
believe, is
year
the
and 2 weeks. Yep.
timeline. Now, this character that they've got on the cover, Niv Drendow, is a
Right.
disciple of Baron Bulin. So if it gives you any idea, if you've read obviously the High Republic books and you understand who Baron Bulin is, this guy is next in line basically. In
It's his apprentice, pretty much.
yeah, experiments on creatures and everything like
hmm
that. So
And this is the main cover with Niv Drendow on it.
I think we got a
And
variant for this one, didn't we, Mike? Normally we
yeah,
don't
we
get
do.
ones for adventures, but I think this one's
Right,
got
right. This
a
one does have
variant.
a variant, but this I like. I want to look at this cover first for a little bit
Oh,
because
that's very cool.
I love it. It's got the nameless in the background, which is like just it's kind of like a halo for a saint, but kind of like
Yeah.
satanic halo. It's
Right. No, yeah.
right, and then you've got these
The
creatures that look pretty evil and
yeah. And then we got the warden um on one side. Who that guy's he's definitely a hardcore Nile. Um
hardcore. Yep.
and then the I can't now totally forgot spacing on the girl who's flanks the other side. Um
It's Drigget. Drigget Parse.
yes, Triget. She's from Valo, I believe.
She's from Valo. That's right. Right.
So interesting cast of
So this is
characters.
the main cover, and here's a variant, which the colors are really nice.
Yeah, it's a cool cover. Obviously done in a totally different like art style, but I really think like that leads a little bit more of the mischievous works that they're doing with experimenting on the nameless. These ones are obviously very small. The ones that are
Little
featured,
nameless hatchlings.
yeah, but still pretty dangerous nonetheless.
Yeah, I like this one. And you know what? This particular artwork style of Drendow reminds me of Tourette and Surette. Do you think he might be the same type of
Yeah,
alien?
hard. Honestly, that's very possible. I didn't think about that till just now, but now that going back and looking through like the panels in my mind here, it's very possible um,
hmm
that could be just a non force sensitive, obviously being like Tourette and Surette are.
Right, right. And so those are the two covers. And which one do you prefer, Bryce?
I mean, I like the main cover. This was just I what I liked about the variants. I think it just showed off more of the mischievous or evil part of what who this character is.
hmm
Very much a Baron Bulin disciple. It's all about the
Yeah,
creatures. It's all about the research. So
yeah. My favorite's the main cover,
Oh yeah, it's
without a
the
doubt.
artwork that they do is it's really cool. I like it a lot. Obviously, you know, Daniel Jose Older does such a wonderful job writing these.
His story writing is always really quick paced, right?
Yeah, but it's fun. It's
Yeah, it
fun
is fun. It
writing,
is fun.
but yeah, it is very quick. You can get through his material really fast, but at the same time, you don't feel like you're reading too fast where you're not getting the story. You're definitely just
Right.
you're reading at his basically at his pace that he's writing, but you still get the story. You still absorb everything that he's writing.
Right, right. Because I remember his novel is Escape to Velo, right? Or
Escape from Valo.
Escape from Velo. And I remember that that was a really fast paced novel too. So I think his style.
Yeah,
I really like his style.
he's got a couple that he threw out. I mean, he's got the Race to Crash Point Tower, which was also
Race to
one.
Crash Point Tower. Yes,
Yeah,
that's the one
but
I was
yeah, but he also
thinking.
did the
Because
Escape from Valo with was it Alyssa Wong? They both wrote that
hmm
book.
but his Race to Crash Point Tower. I remember
Oh
that
yeah,
during the pandemic, there was, we're all stuck at home, and he did like a webinar, and I remember joining it and listening to him speak about it,
mm-hmm.
and he talked about how he had written it all, and he just felt like, oh, it's too long, it's dragging, so he chopped it up to make it even shorter, to be quicker, and
I
then the
think I
title had to be.
read that in two
Yeah, did you read
sittings, and
that?
the only reason, yeah, and the only reason why I didn't read it in one sitting is because I just didn't have time the first day, and the second day I had just finished it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Crash Point Tower is great, great book, a lot of action, a lot of, but
A
yeah,
lot of action.
right,
Yeah,
great
but I
book,
agree with you. Nothing. It's not too fast. You don't miss stuff. You catch everything, but it's just a
right.
good pace.
And if anything, what it allows you to do is read it and then go back and look at the the pictures a little bit more in detail as you go through it to spend a little bit more time with the comic, which is
Mm-hmm.
kind of what I've been doing with this whole series. So
Yeah, I love that too. And this issue has a lot of characters. So we've got Farza Laterabal, Ishnar Tikaratal, Lula Talazola, Torben Buck, Zine Rala, 5AG3, Adi Sunzi, Argamon, Bindel Sepp, Deblindrix the Third, little
yeah,
creature,
but that's what
Drig,
the name of the nameless. So you
the
can't
little
really call this
nameless.
nameless. This one's literally a named nameless.
I know that's funny because he has them as pets. He actually, this Niv
Mm-hmm.
Drendal, like he's like really attached to these little pets.
Yes.
Drigget Pars, Eowyn Gorkin, Fleur Ridleg, Eric Lambs, Cantum Sai, Niv Drendal Aprok, Pebble Cronara, Court, Tani Brewil, Warden, and Severin Tarkin. I wonder if this is Tarkin's great grandmother.
Hmm, maybe.
So we shall see. So let me read the crawl. It says, Star Wars: A High Republic, those 100,000 lights. Zine, Lula, and the Republic forces have been scouring the galaxy for any hint as to the whereabouts of Farzala, Buckets of Blood, and their other friends who vanished when Starlight Beacon fell a year earlier. A tip from chaotic droid 5AG3's spy network leads them to focus on the Corvix Vorn, a Nile prison ship that makes occasional runs outside of the occlusion zone. The Jedi and their allies prepare for a desperate raid that could cost them everything or finally reveal the answers they've so urgently sought.
And it also reminds me, if I'm not mistaken, is it Argomon droid is also in this comic, but not as one of the comic characters. And it looks a lot like is it B3MO from Andor?
Oh, yes, you're right.
Um, and so that's the droid that they where they send in to like basically plant a tracking device
This
on
one?
the ship.
This one?
Right? Yes.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. You're right.
I mean, it's similar.
I see the
Looks
similarities. Yeah.
yeah to me a little bit more Wally um,
hmm
than B, but
But it's also
I think they
like
called it
so
Big
many.
B. They called it she. affectionately calls it Big B.
Mm-hmm.
And I like it because that that droid actually has a pretty cool personality. Like, and a lot of
Right.
I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, I don't want to do
Yeah.
this, I hate this, I hate this. Like, I don't want to go back. I don't like this place. Like,
Yeah.
it's pretty funny.
It is funny.
Good comic relief, but yeah, basically this is like the setup. They for us they know that the prison ship exists,
Mm-hmm.
and it comes out of the exclusion zone and goes back in, but it pops in and out in different places. So you can't
Right.
really just say it's going to pop out in one section and then
Right.
be able to be there. So like part of this is Argamon and Big B fly and deliver their
Right.
goods.
They got the
And
intel. Mm-hmm.
yeah, we get the intel, and as they're loading everything, the cool part is like Big B kind of wanders off, and there's where boom, Farzala shows up, clothed like basically now it's time to be free, or I can't remember exactly what he says, but it's like
Right. Right.
time to plan the escape, or that's what it
Right.
is.
Right. So this issue opens up at the beginning with there's another sub story going on with between because they Lula found uh
Zine found Lula,
Zine found Lula, but Lula didn't know who she was.
right?
And but finally she's recovering her memories, and
Yes. Yep.
Zine wants to profess her love for Lula, and she just doesn't know how to do it because Lula's a Jedi, and Jedi are, it's forbidden to have attachments. So she's struggling with how to bring that out to her, and so she at the beginning of this issue she walks in on Lula, and as she's burning her Nile
The Nile,
guard,
field and
the
stuff that
Nile
kept her
robes
safe.
and
Yep.
helmet, right,
Yeah.
because she wants to like destroy that part of her life, that it's gone for good. So it starts out with that, and then we see that Zine is struggling internally. She has an internal monologue throughout the
Yeah,
entire.
which is always great because who the internal dialogue is for, because they do such a good job color coding it as far
Mhm.
as like who the character is. And like, so I think Lula was always purple,
And Zine is always pink.
Zine's always pink, and Farzala is blue. So
Right.
the different characters have their own colors. So when you see the color, you automatically know, okay, this is the person, and this is what's kind of going on
Yeah.
in their brain, which is evident in this issue, and obviously, in part 2 with issue 5 that we'll be reviewing as well.
Mm-hmm. And so then it moves on from that because she can't quite spit it out. She's got something on her chest, but she can't get it out because she doesn't know how to do it. And there's so much going on, she doesn't want to interrupt the mission. So then they go into, we see all of the Jedi assembled with the Admiral Kronara. And that's when they discover, based on the intel that they've received from Argamon and the droid, they know where it's going to appear, the ship that has all the prisoners. And it's funny because while this is going on, he's briefing the whole team. Lula is sensing something from Zine, and she's like, "Hey, what's going on?" She whispers to her, and she's like, "Oh no, everything's fine, I promise." Because this is not the right time to tell her, because we're right in the middle of this mission. And then they set up all the assignments. Like, you're going to do this, you take care of that, right? Yep. Distributes all the assignments to everybody. And they do have that one panel where they show all the ships come out, and it's all these different types. You got the vectors, but you've got some other ships too, which I thought was pretty cool. I think a lot of diversity of ships.
It's a long beam,
some vectors, and I just thought it was really cool, the diversity of those ships. Maybe I can share that panel. Let me see. Do I present? Share screen. Let me grab it. Oops. Did
you lose it, Mike?
Present. Share screen. Oh, there it is. And take a look at this one.
Oh, yeah.
Look at all those ships. Isn't that a great?
Yeah. The triangle looking one looks exactly like a Jedi starfighter that especially it looks like Obi-Wan's.
Yeah.
And I think that center ship is the
Mm-hmm.
one that Lula and Zine are on, because that's been in a couple issues
Right.
already. But yeah, definitely some Republic. I would assume the Republic ships, and then again, I think
The
there
gray
was
ones.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think even the
Yeah.
starfighters, the little tiny triangle ones, are also the same thing. And I think the ship
From the
that's
RDC.
yeah, yeah, along with the gray ones, and then I think the one above is the long beam, the transport ship, because it's um, a little bit different setup than the other ones.
This one, right?
I think so. Well,
Or
no,
this
no. I
one.
think about it now.
I
It's
think
actually
this one. This is a long beam here.
that's a vector.
Oops.
Oh, that's a vector.
That's a vector.
Yeah. Well, it was there was a long beam, but
Oops. Sorry.
all good. We can look at this.
Is it this one? This gray one?
It's
Yeah.
possible it's that one.
Yeah. So I just really enjoyed this panel because I love ships. If you know me, I collect I have
Right.
every ship that's been made by Hasbro, and so I love all the ships. So just thought I'd share that.
Yeah.
And then from there, so they go out and they have their assignments. They're going to go and attack, and uh, then it cuts over to the Nile prison ship. And on the Nile prison ship, um, we hear from the warden, and he's calling all of the prisoners to like this courtyard area, right? And he's got this box, this like mysterious box. And then we see that our friends are there, our Jedi friends, Farzala, all of them, but they're
Right.
undercover. They've been hiding their identities until the moment was just right.
Right.
And then we find out that they haven't been able to escape because if they left, the Nile had promised to kill
A
someone,
prisoner until
a
every prisoner
prisoner.
until he returned. Yeah.
Right, right. For
Yeah.
every day that they were missing, they would kill one prisoner.
Mm.
And so the Jedi, with they're so compassionate that kept them prisoners more than
Right.
anything else.
Yep.
But then they're finally saying like they're feeling like our time is coming to. We've got to do the breakout soon.
Right.
And I don't know if it was the Force speaking to them, telling them that the escape was coming. I think the Force was urging them that it's the right
Well,
time.
I think Big B, being there, and I think Farzla, um, I think there was a conversation that was had
Oh, they were tipped off. That makes more sense.
that was tipped off
Yeah,
as well. Like I think they knew,
they
like,
didn't.
okay,
Yeah,
hey,
you know what? They
plan
didn't
this.
say it
We
straight out,
know.
but I think you're right.
Yeah,
You're right. That
yeah.
makes
It
more
was kind of
sense.
like it was one of those things. Like,
Insinuated.
okay, we know people are coming.
Right, right. And so then they have them all there, and they bring out the box,
Well,
and they
that's
start to.
in issue 5.
No, it's this
Is
issue.
it? Is
Hmm.
it?
Yep, it's this issue. Watch, I'll show you the panel.
Oh, I believe you.
Yeah, let me pull it up because it's a cool panel. See? And because he says, "Oh, you there," he doesn't reveal himself. He just says, "I'm not a Jedi, but I bet you, what if you are?" And he goes up and they bring him up on the stage, and he has the box and he starts sweating. And when he opens up the box, it's a
Right.
little cute little baby nameless.
It also looks like it's kind
So
of been mutated a little bit too.
yeah, because they've been
Um,
experimenting. Baron Boolin's so evil.
and that's the one that they have in the foreground, but you can see the eyes of the second one off to the left and behind it.
Oh yeah, glowing.
So because there were two of them,
There's three, right? They have three babies.
just two,
Only
just
two.
two.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just the two. Because later in the panel, you see them both jettisoned out into space, and
Right.
it's just the
Well,
two.
spoiler alert, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
So then,
Wow.
he starts to feel it, right? And just before he succumbs to the power of the little baby nameless, they all start shouting out, "I am Jedi, I am Jedi." They all start shouting. And we find out that the warden, it was his plan all along, right, to root them out, but he has a
Right.
bigger plan to draw in the Jedi to then destroy them. Um, And here they are. They're coming in. Wait, that's the one that I saw. And oops, it jumped back. And then they start their attack too on the outside. But the warden's like, you know, this is all part of my plan. And Niv Drendal's like, wait a minute, we got to protect my little babies. You know, the nameless. They're part of the Nile. So then we see that it swaps. It goes back to the outside when the Jedi and the Admiral, the Republic forces are attacking, and we see all the prisoners inside the courtyard here
Field, yep.
with the force field.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna just turn off the shields. You know,
Right.
Expose all the prisoners to space. Oops. And he turns off the shields, and everyone starts floating out into space, including the nameless.
Yes. Yep.
Where are they? The nameless hatchlings.
Yeah, I don't know if you see them in any of the.
Not here, huh?
Yeah, I don't know if I know you see them in 5. So sorry.
Right. Well, because to be continued, so it does continue directly from this moment into 5.
Yeah.
So we see here that that's what's been happened. The plan has been hatched, and they're all floating out into space. All the prisoners, and of course, Jedi can't stand that, so they're not going. They're of course going to stop their attack because they have to save lives first.
Yep.
It's like their prime directive. And that brings us to the end of this issue. So it was a really nice build up to this point, and we're like, what's going to happen? And in order to find out our review of that, you'll have to join us for our next review in a couple of weeks. And we'll have Jonathan, hopefully, by then.
And we'll have Jonathan. Hopefully, yes.
So, what did you think about this issue, this episode, Bryce?
I like it. I like I said, the adventures are fun. They still tell like a really great story, but it just like the reading's not quite as intense, even though the action is.
Right.
Different art style, which I've always appreciated, because I know during like the Marvel, we've seen art styles change, but the great thing is the art style on the Dark Horse / IDW when it was them, it stayed the same, which I've always I appreciate that. And like I said, Daniel Jose Older does a great job writing. It's a lot of fun to see, what stories he's telling, and excited to see where everything goes.
So how many holocrons?
For me, I'd go solid 4 out of 5, because I know it's only going to get better. And I think there's a lot more stories.
I also give it 4 out of 5.
So, yeah.
Cool. I thought it was a good issue, good episode. 4 out of 5 holocrons for sure. It's solid. It keeps you involved, and like you said, Bryce, it's a little bit of text, but it's really rich in imagery.
Yeah,
so
very much
some of the stuff I didn't get, like you're right, they didn't state it that they had the plan, but it makes sense that that's how they knew. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do a little bit better with my subtext, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. So solid 4 out of 5.
Yeah, for sure. Cool.
And so thanks for joining us, and remember to like and subscribe.
Comment. Mike loves talking.
If you have any comment, I do love comments, though there hardly are ever any. But if you do comment, I will respond, I promise. And be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And there it comes. Be sure you're following us on YouTube at Virtual Cantina Network, and on Instagram at virtual.cantina network, on X, which is really Twitter, at Cantina Virtual, on Threads at virtual.cantina network, on Hive at Virtual Cantina, and on TikTok at Virtual Cantina. and like the VCN Star Wars Celebration Japan 2025 Facebook page, which is our mothership.
Yes.
And shout out to our sister pages.
Star Wars Comic Book Club, Star Wars Book Nerds. And another
Mhm,
shout
right there in
out
the
if you're a
corner.
solo con goer and need a con buddy, make sure to check out our sister page, Obi-Wan. Oh, now I'm drawing a
Oh,
blank.
it's oh by one.
Oh
Oh
yeah, all
by
by
oneself.
oneself. Yes, that's right. I
Mhm.
always forget
Oh
how we
by
broke it up. So,
oneself. It's like the
yeah.
song.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll look forward to speaking to you in a couple of weeks. May the
See
force
you
be with
next
you.
time. Live long and prosper.